On June 12, 2026, Ohio government activity appears to have centered on a mix of public safety messaging, continuing legislative work, and a few agency and enforcement developments. The available results are incomplete, so this report covers the major items identifiable from the provided sources and notes where the record is thin. 14578, a major statewide executive branch action, was an Ohio Department of Commerce notice titled, Ohio Agencies Promote Safe Boating Through Alcohol and Cannabis Law Awareness, dated June 12, 2026. The item indicates a public safety outreach effort by Ohio agencies focused on boating while under the influence of alcohol or cannabis, suggesting an interagency enforcement and education campaign tied to seasonal water safety. The search snippet does not provide the named officials or the full list of participating agencies, but the Department of Commerce was the publishing agency. 1. On the legislative side, the clearest June 12 development is that Ohio lawmakers continued work on budget-related and policy measures that were already active by that date. A roundup published after the fact says Ohio lawmakers moved to pay nursing homes $875 million after a state Supreme Court ruling found they were underpaid, which indicates a significant fiscal or appropriations action in response to litigation. The snippet does not include the bill number, chamber vote count, or the exact legislative vehicle. So those specifics cannot be confirmed from the provided results alone. 4 additional legislative context from tracking sources shows that by June 12, 2026, Ohio's General Assembly had been dealing with a broader set of policy items, including appropriations for the 2025-2027 biennium, homestead exemption changes, property tax carve-outs for fire and EMS levies, a temporary homestead exemption increase, a constitutional amendment proposal on food and beverage taxes, parking ticket late fee limits, and a proposal to restrict eminent domain for recreational trails. These results establish the active legislative environment around that date, but they do not prove each item advanced on June 12 itself. 3. A public affairs/media item on PBS, the State of Ohio show, for June 12, 2026, said lawmakers were done for the summer, implying that the legislature had entered its summer recess or had finished a major session period by that day. The snippet is too brief to confirm the exact procedural action, but it supports the conclusion that legislative activity had reached a pause or adjournment point. 8. There is also evidence of enforcement activity tied to healthcare fraud. A June 12, 2026 HHSYG video snippet says a new federal-state partnership in Ohio was strengthening the fight against healthcare fraud and had already led to charges in a case. Because the snippet is federal rather than state-issued, it should be treated as a cross-jurisdiction enforcement action affecting Ohio rather than a purely state action. The source does not identify the Ohio agencies or the defendants. 6. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources also had an events-related announcement connected to the America 250 Ohio celebration. The ODNR page says it was announcing America 250 celebration events, indicating planning or promotion of public commemorations under the state's America 250 observance. The search result does not specify whether the events were first announced on June 12, 2026, or merely remain listed there, so the date linkage is not fully certain from the snippet alone. 9. A further public safety and public information item was the Ohio Society of CPAs Week in Review, June 14, 2026, which summarizes Ohio legislative news for the week ending June 12, 2026. The snippet confirms that the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services issued an item affecting aging-related policy, but the truncated result does not show the full subject or the exact action taken. 5. Separately, a Ballotpedia snapshot states that as of June 12, 2026, Ohio's legislature had referred one constitutional amendment to the ballot requiring a photo ID to vote. That is a significant election policy development relevant to state government actions on that date, though the result does not show whether the referral itself occurred on June 12 or was merely the status as of that date. 7. What can be said with confidence from the available results is that June 12, 2026 included executive branch public safety outreach on boating, alcohol, and cannabis law awareness. 1. Continued or final legislative activity around the state budget and related fiscal measures, including an $875 million nursing home payment response to a court ruling. 4. Broader legislative work on tax, homestead, parking, eminent domain, and appropriations issues already active in the General Assembly. 3. Federal state enforcement activity in Ohio involving healthcare fraud. 6. Public events and commemorative planning tied to America 250. Ohio 9. Ongoing statewide policy reporting on aging-related actions by OJS 5. A ballot measure referral involving photo ID requirements. 7. If you want, I can turn this into a more formal government brief with separate sections for executive actions, legislative actions, enforcement, and public events, still using only the evidence available here.